Number 68. Again, there's a few different ways you could do this problem. I like to try to find the, the easiest or the most straightforward way. If I know that I have a .04, I like to draw pictures, by the way, if you haven't noticed. If I have a .04, if my line is going to go through that point, well, I already know I've got a y-intercept. Y-intercept, b equals positive 4. So if I know my equations of lines, I know that the easiest of the three types of equations of lines would be the slope-intercept form. So I already have the y-intercept. All I need is the slope. So if my line goes through that point and it's perpendicular to this line, then I know if I can come up with the slope of this line, then I just take the negative reciprocal for the slope of the line perpendicular to that line. So let's try to figure out the slope of this line. Well, don't get carried away here and say 1. Maybe it is 1, maybe not, but you've got to get, in order to look at an equation and come up with a slope, it has to be in point slope or slope-intercept form. So let's get it into this form, and we just solve for y. So let's take the equation, and solving for y, I'm going to go ahead and subtract x from both sides. So I get negative 2y equals, and let's put the x term first, negative x minus 5. So now in order to solve for y here, all you have to do is subtract, or not subtract, but divide by negative 2. So we're going to divide every term by negative 2. The negatives 2's cancel, and we get y equals, now we got a negative over a negative, that's a positive. And let's write it as, we could write it as x over 2, but that's the same thing as 1/2 times x. I like to write it as something times x, because that something is going to be our slope. So the slope of this line here, which we just looked at, the slope of this line then is 1/2. So if the slope of this line is 1/2, and the line we're looking to come up with the equation for is perpendicular to that line, then our slope, so this is that's that slope, and so our slope, let's just write our slope, would be the negative reciprocal of that number. So we flip this fraction over, 2 over 1, put a minus sign in front of it, and we get negative 2. So the slope of our line that goes through this point is negative 2. Therefore, the equation of the line, so we have our slope, we have our y-intercept, and when we put it in the equation y equals mx plus b, we have y equals m, which is negative 2, times x plus b, which is 4.